All right, last story of the day. We're bringing it to the local news out here in Colorado, where you guys, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there are various budget deficits and shortages all over the country, and Colorado is not one of those places. It's not one of the places who's exempt from that. Denver itself has budget deficits, and the state government is having trouble with their deficit as well. And now here we are. We have the RTD, which is the transit authority in the Denver, Colorado metro area. And they say they are $1.6 billion short when it comes to revenue for some expansions that have been in the works for over 20 years. So 20 years and we still have not gotten this built. Let's take a look at what's going on with the RTD.
And new information this morning, RTD's expansion of the metro area's railway system is in financial trouble. And in order to complete that project, more money is needed. So if you're wondering just how much, we're talking over $1 billion. Fox 31's Kasha Carriage joins us live from Union Station with the details on that. And I mean, that's a pretty hefty price tag, Kasha.
Yeah, that's right, Andrea. RTD is actually required by law to finish this project. 4 of those major sections remains unfinished, and the goal there was to connect the Denver metro area to other areas like Longmont, Highlands Ranch, and Thornton. But over 20 years ago, voters approved RTD's expansion program, the largest in the nation, of over 100 miles of both commuter and light rail systems, dozens more rail transit stations, and 18 miles of rapid bus transit. So far, the project has added 25 miles of light rail track and over 50 miles of commuter track. But things like the 2008 recession and the 2020 COVID pandemic have forced that deadline back. So RTD is now asking for $1.6 billion to get this project done by 2034, almost 2 decades past that original deadline.
We have a lot of challenges in terms of completing the program in a shorter period of time, and that I know everybody's anxious about it, but we really do need other sources of revenue in order for us to kind of be able to complete it in a reasonable amount of time.
Other experts say this could come out of taxpayers' pockets with an increase in taxes in the RTD districts that they serve, or a new retail sales tax or ridership tax, although the details of that are still a bit unclear. RTD has seen a massive decline in ridership, though they're hoping that with this additional funding, that'll help bring those numbers back to what they saw about a decade ago.
Yeah, as far as ridership declines, I mean, it's just not convenient. I mean, they had an Oktoberfest here in Denver over the weekend, and I just opted to use Lyft because it was cheaper, faster, and more reliable than trying to use RTD. So no wonder people aren't riding it right now. But let's get some more information on this, because I want you guys to see what the system looks like and what these additional routes actually are. Let me show you the existing footprint. Now, like they said, it does have a large footprint, as you can see here on the map. This is downtown Union Station, where everything kind of originates from, and it reaches some of the suburbs. It goes up to North Glen, goes out through Arvada, comes all the way down to Littleton, and even have a route that goes out to Longtree, which is a very suburban soccer mom type of town. So, and of course the A line going to the airport, which is the most used line. Now let's see if we can get some more information. Okay, here we go. Next 9 news.
These train to and from Boulder County could really come in handy on a night like tonight when the Denver Broncos play.
Now we're talking about Boulder County, so you see here's Denver. Boulder is up here. That's where what's the university? UC Boulder. Okay. Now this was a line that has been talked about for decades and it's just never been built. And if I recall, they passed a tax already. So these people in Boulder have been paying for RTD rail to be built out here, but so far that has not yet happened. So it stops right here in Westminster.
Hang on a second. I want to show you something. Recognize this. RTD's train to Boulder and Longmont could now be just 3,000 or so days away. This is Kyle's prop, not mine. I'm going to do my very best here. 3,000. That's not a bad number, right? New report from RTD claims the unfinished portions of Fast Tracks could be now complete by 2034. 2034, including the train to Boulder that was promised more than 20 years ago. What's the catch here, though? Only $1.5 billion more dollars. Here's Marshall Zellinger.
Okay, class, if a train is approved to leave Denver in 2004 but still isn't built to Boulder in 2025, how much will it cost to still complete a promise made to voters?
In order for us to prioritize it and get it done in the next 10 years like the legislature would like us to, we need help from others to do it.
RTD's Bill Soroy is explaining a new report on Fast Tracks, the 2004 voter-approved passenger rail program funded by a metro area sales tax, one that Boulder County residents pay, but without a promised passenger train.
That is a commitment that we made, so we are honoring that commitment. It's just a matter of when we can afford to do it.
The report was required by state lawmakers who were pushing RTD to finish the promises of Fast Tracks. Fast Tracks was supposed to cost $4.7 billion. RTD has spent $5.5 billion and still does not have a train going through Louisville and on to Boulder and Longmont, as well as 3 other rail extensions that are unfinished. To complete those 4 projects promised in Fast Tracks, RTD needs another $1.6 billion.
It all depends on money, and what we're saying is we don't have money.
Well, if the topic sounds ominous,
Just one more billion, bro. All right, let me see if I can find a map of this route. I think I had it earlier. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So, as you can see, they've been collecting taxes for over 20 years. Now, me personally, whenever there's a transportation related tax or fee that's on the ballot, when I lived in Charlotte, I voted in favor of those. So I'll probably vote in favor of those whenever the next election is here in Colorado. But when you see stuff, when you have stuff like this where it's taking this long, like the voters start wondering, why am I paying these taxes? This fuels a lot of distrust for these transit agencies when you can't get things done in a reasonable amount of time. I mean, we got 20 years, and basically what you see up here in orange, this is the corridor that they're talking about to Longmont, and has not been constructed at all. So it ends at Westminster right now. So Boulder still has no access to the rail line. And then over here, you have a light rail that's to go out to Jefferson County, which is Golden. And that has not been constructed. And then there is an extension from Littleton to Highland Ranch, which, I mean, do we really think those Highland Ranch moms are going to be, those soccer moms are going to be riding trains? Honestly, I don't really see people from Highland Ranch or past Lone Tree really using the light rail, unless it's to go to sporting events in downtown. So I think you're better off focusing on probably at least getting it to Boulder, because I don't even see people in Longmont coming down into Denver very often, because it would just be faster. Even if you want to get to the airport, it would be faster to just take 25 and then take the roads to get to the airport. So, but this is the map. I'll link this in the description if any of you guys want to see more detail of it yourself. But they have got a lot of work to do, and it's been 20 years, and they're still talking about, if they get this $1.6 billion, that's going to make it possibly completed in 10 years. Or what did she say? 6,000 days? 3,000 days. 3,000 days. So look at this guy.
It's plagued each Boulder mayor for years.
Zeus has an opinion on this matter.
Aaron Brockett is the current Boulder mayor who sees the lights at the front of the train.
I do think that our best promise and hope for Rail to Boulder lies in the Joint Rail Service Plan with Front Range Passenger Rail.
The Front Range Passenger Rail is another yet-to-be-built project that would presumably get a passenger train from Pueblo to Fort Collins. Brockett brought it up when I pointed out RTD's new estimate for the train to Longmont has dropped from 10,000 daily riders to 1,100.
When you combine the two with the train going all the way up to Fort Collins,
Let's go back to that. What?
Brought it up when I pointed out RTD's new estimate for the train to Longmont has dropped from 10,000 daily riders to 1,100.
when you
1,100 riders per day? Wow. And we want billions of dollars to move 1,100 people per day. Let's continue.
the two with the train going all the way up to Fort Collins, past Boulder and Longmont and Loveland, I think then you get the additional ridership and the additional transportation benefit that makes it all worthwhile.
So now what? Soroy with RTD told me these are now facts on paper, so RTD, state lawmakers, local elected leaders can all be on the same page. Well, since voters just approved a Tabor override for RTD, meaning they allowed RTD to keep above and beyond the mathematical equation of what they're allowed to keep each year, I asked RTD, would they ask voters for more money on top of the money voters in the metro area are already giving RTD for something that's unfinished? I got a to be continued answer, although Boulder's mayor was like, no more RTD additional tax.
Asking money from us here in Colorado. 2034. What do you think that likelihood actually is? Because we've waffled on this a lot here, so.
I asked of these 4 projects that are unfinished, what's your deadline to get them done by 2034? They would need to be approved essentially tomorrow, or at least in the next few months.
Okay.
So unlikely.
Okay.
But if you start, it's the most expensive one. The train to Longmont's the most expensive, so if that gets approved, maybe 2034. If they wait, it's just going to get more expensive, and that time is going to get higher.
And I'm looking at this thing one more time. I thought this was funny. So if we're at 3,000 now, you know what we were last time we did this? 6,300. So we're moving in the right direction.
Improvement.
Maybe that makes it unbelievable then.
That's an awful, and that was like a year ago. So, all right, we'll see.
All right, guys. So we'll see what happens with this. Will RTD ask for more money? And will the people of Colorado vote to give them more money? It sounds like Boulder says, no, we are not raising taxes anymore. So will this get done by 2034? It looks like that's wishful thinking at best. Maybe by 2040. By then, probably all my hair will be gray by the time this is done. So RTD, ladies and gentlemen.